Welcome back to the broadcast. Before we wind up the English edition of Citizen Extra and crossover for the Kiswahili edition, we're now joined by Brian Okoth, who will take us through the day's trends. And today we have a special guest in studio, James Omathai, Partnerships Director, Bloggers Association of Kenya. Brian, the show is yours. Over to you.
All right, a very good morning to you, Wahiga Mwaura, and good morning to James Omathai.
Good morning.
And thank you very much for joining us. And even before we go to the trends and entertainment news this morning, early this week actually we woke up to some news, especially on Twitter, that popular and also veteran KBC presenter Leonard Mambo Mbotela was dead. But it later emerged that those reports were false and were being peddled by a blogger.
Was more than one actually.
Yes, but the origin was actually one blogger. I won't mention his name here. And in this day and age where blogs actually mushroom every other day, somebody out there could be wondering, okay, before I consume some content on this particular blog, how can I know if that particular blog is credible? And I'll pose this question to James Omathai, the Partnership Director at Bloggers Association of Kenya. How can a Kenyan out there who wants to consume some content, especially relating to matters, public figures, know that anything and everything written about that person is responsible, credible and true?
I think going forward, one of the things that Kenyans need to do is to become smart consumers of news. I mean, we were earlier talking about fake news, and the idea around false news, I mean, this is always going to be with us. So I mean, the Mambo Mbotela story is very unfortunate, but stories like that are going to be around with us for a very long time. And I feel that Kenyans need to be taught or teach themselves how to be smart consumers of news. By that I mean, people need to corroborate. When you see something, when it is probably news saying Wahiga Mwaura is this, you need to actually confirm. You need to actually confirm that it's a fact and not just believe something at face value. And on the other end of the scale, for bloggers and influencers, they need a lot of training on verification. So you'll find probably in this case what happened is that this person got this information, but they didn't actually verify that it's true. And verification is important when you're an influencer and a blogger, because you have an audience, and when you have an audience, you have a responsibility to only share verifiable facts. And when you make a mistake, because mistakes happen even in mainstream media, I think that you need to apologize, formally apologize, and to the person, to the subject matter, and of course to your audience for that mistake, and make sure that you scrubbed, of course, all the untrue, the false information, or rather the information that was untrue.
Brian, do you mind if I chip in with a question to James?
Yeah.
James, you're part of the Bloggers Association of Kenya.
Yeah.
What are you doing to regulate blogs in this country? And not just blogs, but also people who impersonate others. We know that there are many fake Facebook pages, Twitter handles, especially of notable personalities, some even in this company, and the kind of content they put out there really spoils the name of the person, and it's a rather unfortunate affair. So what is your organization doing to rein in blogs and other content on other sites that might not be true or factual?
No problem. There's something that I can guarantee you.
Okay.
We will never regulate bloggers, and if anyone attempts to regulate bloggers or online users, will fight that. We'll fight that to the end. The reason for that is because there's something called freedom of information, and it is enshrined in the Constitution. So people have the wherewithal to publish information, that they want to publish. The thing about it is there are limitations. There are limitations around defamation. There are limitations around incitement to war. There are limitations around hate speech. And so to be honest, there are laws that exist to limit people who, or rather, to limit and punish people who go. Who sort of like defame people who who incite people to war, etc. And so in that context, there's no need for regulation. To go to your next question about
impersonators.
The thing about it is, all these platforms have first, it is a very, very huge problem. I've seen that in Kenya and other places as well. But the thing about it is, I feel that from a Kenyan perspective, most people don't know that you can actually report these pages, and these pages can be deleted. And in some cases, especially on Facebook, you can actually, if it's let's say it's okay, Wahiga, because since you're here, there's you have a Wahiga Mwaura page, and then there's another page. And that page, of course, it belongs to an impersonator. So what you can do is that you can report them, and then all those likes can be transferred to you. So I feel it's the people who are being impersonated. They need to be proactive and report these pages. And these platforms act, very, very quickly to bring down these pages.
Okay, let me stop you there, Brian. Carry on.
Well, very informative discussion right there we've had, and I didn't know actually you can actually report to social media administrators some of these pseudo accounts that are actually releasing stories and also creating stories out there that even the so-called personalities, the actual regional personalities, do not know about. All right, let's take a look at the trends this morning. And Tanzanian singer Lulu Diva has showered praise on Kenyan men, saying they're good at providing for their partners but are not so good at pampering and giving compliments. I had an exclusive interview with her this morning, and this is what she said.
Wakukea, lakini kidogo hawaji kubembeleza, kudekeza, yani kudekeza, yani point ya kudekeza. I don't know kwa watu ambao nimekutana nao mimi wa Kimayuri, I don't know, lakini kuna ile mambo ya kudekeza na dekezana ile anytime kazi kwanza, wako hivyo, yes.
Alright, Wahiga Mwaura, that is Lulu Diva, top Tanzanian singer. They are saying that vijana wa Kenya hatujui kudekeza, hatujui kupampa, hatujui to give out those very lovely compliments towards our better house. I don't know if you agree with what she says.
I think I'll go safe here, no comment. Alright,
Wahiga Mwaura says no comment on that. And I take that. Alright, let's move on to another story. Zari Hassan is mourning the death of her mother, Halima Hassan, who succumbed to heart-related complication at a Kampala hospital early Thursday. She was aged 58. Zari Hassan took to Instagram to break the sad news yesterday, and this is what she wrote. "You will forever be loved, our old son, Sania Jua. Us as your kids were given the best from God as our mother. We appreciate all you did for us." Halima Hassan had been in hospital since June this year for heart-related complications. Her death comes nearly 2 months after the death of Zari Hassan's ex-husband. And still on matters Tanzanians, Vanessa Mdee, that is a top Tanzanian singer, says irregular communication was the reason she broke up with her ex-partner Jukes. Mdee says she will send a text message to Jukes, and instead of Jukes replying the moment he reads the message, Jukes will ignore her or choose to send a feedback several hours later. Mdee says such a habit subtly indicated she was no longer needed by a boyfriend, and she therefore decided to end the relationship. The two went separate ways in April 2017. Alright, and to some sad news from the international spheres, Linkin Park lead singer Chester Bennington has died aged 41. Bennington apparently hanged himself, and his body was found at a private home in Los Angeles at 8 p.m. East African time on Thursday. Bennington was said to be close to Soundgarden vocalist Chris Cornell, who took his own life in May 2017. The group Linkin Park was formed in 1996 and have sold more than 70 million albums worldwide and won 2 Grammy Awards. May Bennington's soul rest in peace. Alright, and still on matters artists, American singer R. Kelly has been accused of running a cult which is made up of young women. According to reports from the parents of some of the victims, the girls are kept under tight leash and their movements controlled. A woman formerly involved with R. Kelly shared shocking details with an entertainment outlet known as Jezebel regarding R. Kelly's physical, sexual and psychological abuse. The woman, namely Kim, said R. Kelly dictated what her captives, quote unquote, and what kind of clothes they wore and what they said on phone. Kim also claimed R. Kelly refers to the girls as his babies and they call him daddy. The girls are made to engage in vile sexual acts with him. And R. Kelly has, however, denied the allegations, terming them defamatory. And before this, Wahiga Mwaura was telling me it's been a very black week for black American entertainers. Wahiga.
Yes, it has. Of course, what I saw online was R. Kelly, Kevin Hart and Usher Raymond in the same headline talking about the challenges that black men have been facing. Kevin Hart accused of an extramarital affair, Usher accused of a court case that I don't want to get to on TV. So definitely a worrying time for black entertainers.
And I hope it will get better and the dust shall settle for black entertainers. Alright, and on to my final story. I don't know if James Omadhai is actually guilty of this. Are you guilty of texting and driving? This public service advertisement going viral might finally convince you to put down that phone. The 40-second advert has been produced by South Africa's Western Cape government as part of their Safely Home road safety campaign. Originally posted to YouTube on Friday, the video has been viewed millions of times after being reposted to Reddit and Twitter. Let's take a look at that video. Now that advert has an impact. I've had Wahiga Mwaura actually saying, oh my God. I don't know if James Omadhai, being a partnership director at the Bloggers Association of Kenya, and blogging is actually very addictive. I don't know if Mr. James Omadhai, you actually use your phone, especially when performing certain activities such as driving or even walking.
I think one of the things that they teach you in driving school is that you have to actually pay attention and pay attention when you're driving. So basically you can't be doing anything else even when talking. I mean, you have to talk when basically when you're looking ahead. And so for me, I would never ever text and drive. As far as texting and walking, I mean, I'm guilty of that, but I'm also very aware of the surroundings. I would never, for instance, if I'm say walking say from here to Yaya, I would never text, because of course the road is not very the place for walking is very narrow, and so you have to watch for the cars and stuff. So I mean, to be honest, texting and walking and texting and driving is horrible. You should definitely never do it.
Alright, some nuggets of wisdom from James Omadhai, saying that texting and while driving or walking is actually very dangerous. You shouldn't do that. And that particular story brings us to the end of Trends and Entertainment segment this hour. My name is Brian Okoth. Do have a fulfilling afternoon ahead, but even before then, the conversation can continue on Twitter at eDailyKenya, on Instagram at eDailyKenya, on Facebook, and at Real Brian Okoth on Twitter, and at Brian Okoth on Facebook. Join me and let's continue the conversation there. Meanwhile, let me hand you back to Wahiga Mwaura.
Well, thank you.